Mayor of the Philippines, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Salamat po. Kindly sit down and thank you for the courtesy. As always, I have so many appointments for the day so that my mga speech ko is prepared by just 2 pages. That's about 2 sentences and a paragraph of the Constitution. I would not be a true Filipino if I don't mention really the entrails of the presidency. May I greet the former President Joseph Ejercito Estrada. Sir, good evening. The Ambassador Joseph Benzi of Hungary and other members of the Diplomatic Corps, National Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, Solicitor General Jose Calida, former Congressman Ferdinand Martin Romualdez, Justice Manuel Lazaro, retired Chief Justice Renato Pono, members of the Senate and House of Representatives, and of course, Senator Enrile. Sir, salamat for the kind words. You did a great service also to the nation because talagang buong puso ako nagsisilbi sa bayan. The official members and employees of the Philippine Constitution Association, mga kasama ko sa gobyerno, mga kababayan. Well, I said I would not do justice just reading about, it's only been half a minute. Maybe you'd say that after all, mabuti pa naghanap tayo ng iba. It would be true in 1 minute, and it is, I would say, not discourteous, but not adequate for me to be just talking a few words of without substantial meaning. Let me just state outright. I came from the Justice Department. It's the 120th anniversary. So let me reverse my, I'll just start from where I left off. In the penultimate statement, I said that we are in trouble, and this is the first time that I would reveal it because we're talking about the Constitution and the interest of the country. And of course, the Bill of Rights and due process. The Philippines today is a client state of the Bambo Triad. They have taken over the operations, sad to say, Chinese, but I do not mean the country and the people. In the sense that they are, most of them are really into this kind of business. I said they have decided to go international. Philippines is a transshipment of shabu to America, and it behooves upon America to work closely with the Republic of the Philippines, especially on this serious matter. We are flooded with drugs, and the locals here have been taken in, but they participate in the produce of the selling, and I think they are happy because they are protected. We have become a narco state long ago. The Philippines, the barangays is about 40% afflicted with this kind of disease, and most of them are the barangay captains. And that is the reason I said, I am not telling you anything, but I told the congressman, the Senate President, and the Speaker that just listen to me. I'm not suggesting anything. Bahala na kayo. At sinabi ko yung totoo, then I took them in to share the state secrets or not it's supposed to be revealed at this time. But I think that because of the incessant use of the issue AKJ, it's about time that we be clear with each other. I am a worker of government who swore before the people and God that I will enforce the law. And it is part of that oath that I do not have to favor anybody, and that the laws of the land will be applicable to all, the rich and the poor. Yan ang pagkaintindi ko sa trabaho. That's what I understand, how I should. So when I ran for the first time as mayor, it was just after I was appointed for 1 year, Davao City was really a troubled place. We used to lose something like 2 or 3 policemen and soldiers a day through assassination. And I was a prosecutor, and I was myself also tried in the kangaroo court when I was campaigning, and they got hold of me. And I had to explain, yeah, trabaho ko yun eh, it's my work. And if you kill me, everybody dies anytime, anyhow. So as long as you just tell the world that, I was referring to the NPA, that you killed me for doing my duty as a prosecutor, so be it. I'm ready to go. I have no illusions about life and death. The day I was born, I started to die. And so when I became mayor, I became my fast friends. And because hindi naman talaga kami mayaman, we destiny has something to do with it, and maybe God. But really, we started as migrants. Otherwise, kung ang tatay ko sa Cebu o nanay ko sa Marawi, she was a daughter of a Maranao lady, hindi na sana kami nagpunta ng Davao, layo-layo. Pati, my father was practicing his profession as a lawyer. Kung meron talaga kami doon sa amin, hindi na sana kami nagpunta ng ibang lugar. But because my father was eternally searching for the greener pasture. And let me, if you'll forgive me for taking a bit of your time. Alam mo kasi most of the migrants in Mindanao went there, I said, for a better life. Better than what they had before. And the Americans came up with this sloganeering, go to Mindanao because it is the land of promise. Well, actually, we went there and found out that Davao City was owned only by about, count the number in your fingers, about 7 or 8. All of them were, the land was titled in the names of a few persons. We have nothing against them. They were all Tagalogs. But when they divided the Philippines, yung mga homestead, mga cadastral lands, the map was in the Philippines. It was only early 1918 up to 1925. They introduced the homestead and American practice and divided Mindanao into several territories. So just like an imperialist would do, yun ang ginawa nila. And binigay na nila sa mga tao. So yung pagdating ng the huge migration took place between the islands of Leyte, Cebu, Bohol, because it was nearer in proximity. Bababa ka lang eh. And Davao City and the rest of the suffering from lupa. So it was a hot issue. And I promised the NPAs that just go out for a while and do not do not mess up in my city. And I said, I will govern Davao the way I should do. And there were a lot of killings, and those who were holding arms, were given freely by the military because of anti-communist sentiments, you were right away given an arms. So when peacetime came, almost everybody in the community was holding firearms. That made the place, you're from Davao, that made the place really very disorderly and crime-ridden. So I said, and it was there that they started the drugs. When I won as mayor, I said, I will serve you faithfully. And if you think I'm not, and even the communists, I try to invite you to kill me if I violate my oath. But I said, I will make Davao peaceful. But do not destroy the city because I will kill you. And do not, destroy the youth of the land because they are just our only assets. The reason why is very simple. We are not all millionaires. When we retire, kami dito sa gobyerno, we put our place exactly hoping that the savings or the pensions given us would sustain us for the years after retirement. And there is no way of knowing how many years would I live after my retirement. And most of us are just not even, there's no such thing as a middle income family here. It's really the rich and the poor, period. We in government, I suppose I get a bigger sum because pegged to the last salary. Pero doon na ako kukuha. How sure can I be that the pension that I get from the government will sustain me for the rest until God calls me in? Yun ang mahirap. Yun ang masakit sa akin. Because who will buy the oxygen? Who will pay for the hospitals of a regular government worker? Who will pay for the antibiotics? And eventually, who will pay the funeral parlor and our burial expenses? It's our children. It's our children. No such thing in America as there's a pension. No, nothing. What you get is something an ordinary employee. You get about, the most is 100,000, maybe lower. Policemen, they used to retire at 32,000. And you destroy. When I die, at most of my children, or a majority of them, are hooked into drugs. Who will pay the price? It's society, the Filipino. Who is to be blamed? But of course, government. Dumaan kayo dito at wala naman kayong ginawa. Why are there are so many zombies running around? Now, count the number of Filipinos, children, mothers, and fathers killed since the advent of drugs. And they vary in number that we killed 10,000 or 12,000. Where do you get the facts? You must be idiots. You just read the newspaper and say, this Duterte is a killer. Or you rely on the bias of your representatives because the opposition gave it to them. That has always been the issue, even when I was mayor. Women, to be frank with you, and killing. Well, because in my time, I told the police and the military, do your work. Just now. Magtrabaho kayo. Kapag magtrabaho kayo, maraming inkwento. There will be a lot of counters. You work. Do not give me that shit of that just sitting there. I will not accept it. We will all die in this God. It's either we take control of our place. Ano itong isa? There are Filipinos working abroad. In the Middle East, I will not specify the country, but I was there once upon a time to work on the release of a Filipina who was imprisoned, and I was able to talk to King Fahd when I was governor. Congressman. Nakiusap ako. I went there to beg, and he said, you better talk to one of the ministers. And I was introduced to a member of the parliament. And he talked about the plight, the sad story of the Filipinos. And this is what he said to me. You warn your countrymen not to go here. But if they do come here, let them live with the environment. You know, there are many places in the Middle East and in African countries that if you work as a household domestic helper and you are paid, and if you work there bought from the slave markets of Africa, you are used. So the head of the family will use you sometimes. Sometimes the son, sometimes the brother-in-law. And just entertaining the flesh, it will take them until so many hours. They sleep only 3 hours a day. And they continue to suffer humiliation and dignity. And they continue to send money here so that their children can go to school, can get education. The father is in one country, the mother is in another country. You know, when a child gets hooked in drugs, even with the father and mother, it becomes a dysfunctional family. There is already a dysfunction because you know, alam natin, and even your sons and daughters that you know, they begin to steal the cars, your car, they will mortgage it and everything, and they steal. And they graduate into a high-time business of robbing and killing. The poor, when they have the urge, they do not have any money, they go into a hold-up spree. And they kill people. Can I have, where's my aid? You know. Well, this is the updated version. This is supposed to be a national secret. But I'll just show you one page, how many of them are. Isa lang yan, Region 1 or Region. Oh, look at the list. So ganito. Past administration, July 10 to July 16. Anti-drug operations, 99,710. Killed in anti-drug operations, 206. My administration, 70,854. How many died? 3,811 to date. These are legitimate encounters duly recorded. Now, there are some countries which are insulting us to open our records to them everything. Who are you to do that to my country? If you don't believe our records, then go out and find something else to do. We do not fabricate. killed in police operation. Total policemen killed, 85. Marawi casualties connected with the initial flashpoint. The Marawi War was ignited by the service of a summons and a warrant of arrest of one of the drug lords there. There was a far fight, and that started the rebellion. And I was really aghast to know that until now they have so many bullets, ordnance, and everything, that the fight is still going on. Police killed in police operation, 85. Wounded in police operation, 215. Ang casualties is 58. Soldiers killed in action, drug-related, 146. Wounded in action, 2,592. And you say that we are killing our own countrymen. For what reason? You enjoy slaughtering your own countrymen? Yan ang mahirap. Ang masakit sa akin, what is really very painful is there are a lot of business going around. This time, it was the Chinese, not the government, I said not the people. I do not have any qualms against them. But look, what am I supposed to do? You know, when I said in Davao, I will clean up the city for those who want to go out now. Because if I destroy it, I will kill you. When I became president, that's the same message. If you destroy my country, I will kill you. If you destroy the young people of this country, the greatest and only resource of this republic, I will kill you. Period. You all can go to hell if you disagree with me. But find me a law which says that a president of a republic cannot say, I will kill you to protect my country. I will kill you to protect the young people of this country. Find me a law. You know what? I may be just one of the guys in Mindanao. But nobody in this country can question my love for my country. I'm ready to die, and I'm not even asking for a recognition. I'd love to die for my country. Period. Wala nang, I do not want to aspire to be a hero. I do not need that, because my only worry is that my children and the grandchildren of my children do not do it here. Do not do it here. Now, I'm warning. A lot of guys have taken over. Do not do it here. Do not do it here. Because I said one of these days, America would be a sorry state. Because they are no longer, the cocaine and heroin travels a long route. You just cook shabu in the boundary, just what like the trawlers, the Chinese trawlers are doing, cooking shabu in the ships and throwing it overboard and placing a GDP. There's a GDP so that the drug lords are going to travel. So if we meet in one, if we meet in one corner, I'm sorry. I am really sorry. I'm saying it to God, not to anybody else. I will not offer apologies or excuses. I have to do what I must do. Period. I hope you realize my statement when I became president. I told you in the dealing of problems of corruption, drugs, criminality, I make it peaceful for the economy to thrive. I never said that I was an expert in economics. I was honest enough to say I'll take all of my mga kababa. Sunny Dominguez is a childhood friend. Tugade is from Cagayan, Tugigaraw. They're all valedictorians. Pero ako, ordinaryo lang. Pero huwag mo talagang subukan. Huwag mo talagang subukan ninyo because I will not allow my country to sink. If you think that you're earning millions here, better enjoy it because I said, magtatagpo rin tayo. You know, what is really very funny is this. When I became president, I did not start operating police punitive action right away. Kapa ako eh. You know why? Because on the first day of my term, I should give me all the available data of the drug problem. And I found there 9 generals, 9 fucking generals running this show here. So what do you think? But there were already people being killed by the dozens. You count, you go back to the records so that you will be fair. Ngayon basta salita ka lang ng salita. There were several killings before I assumed duty. 10, 15, it was already almost a vicious thing every day. It was not only after 2 months that I allowed Bato, the PNP chief, to start. But then, karamihan na, sige, patay. Not I did tell you, I will not name the countries. The funeral parlors complained that there are a lot of bodies piling there in their bodega, and they're almost a warehouse already. Nobody was claiming the bodies. I was not operating yet. Who do you think killed those persons? Nobody claimed them because they were all foreigners. Could you ever think a Christian country, whatever the crime of the caste did, kukunin mo talaga yan sa punerarya? But I said, remember, there were complaints of piling up of bodies and nobody was claiming because they had no relatives here. The drug lords of the day, just a piece of meat, carcass, bahala. Yan. And that was the issue na bakit maraming patay sa punerarya. They kept on pouring formalin because it was already stinking to the heavens. Bakit walang nagkiklaim? Walang kilala eh. Just like the innocent Filipinos lured abroad. Ito naman dito, they were lured here. And made me to believe that everything, this kind of practice is all right. And so the poor guys were also just cooking there and cooking here. Now, who do you think killed them? What would be my reason to kill a foreigner? And I said, I did not start it until 2 months later. Problem is people, sometimes. There's a word. Please remember it. I'd like everybody. It says that men judge best when they condemn. That is the problem. If you are condemning, you are at your best element. Pardon my protestation. I'm actually protesting. That's what I said. Go to the streets and protest, and I will protest also. What's happening to my country? You are my country. That's what I am protesting here. Yan na. Ano mo? And I will tell you then what are you up to? Well, I would just say that is my characterization of my job. That is how I characterize the office of the President and the perils and the burden and the duty that goes with it. Mabuti ang magklaro tayo. There will be no let up. Ito ang ginawa ko ganito. Because the bishops are complaining. Because they ride on the issues, mga madre dyan, oh, go ahead. This is a free country. And said Duterte is planning for his extension in office. Shit. He never wanted to be president. You know what? This is what happened. During the last day of the term, filing for, I did not file. And so some supporters were disappointed. So when I finally decided to run, sino nagtulong sa akin? In the entire Philippines, who supported me? How many governors? Jaime Marcos, 1. Abet Garcia, governor, 2. Romualdez, mga Romualdez, ano. Then one single, that's Bisaya, one single governor, and only because she loved me and I loved her. Wala, I didn't have a single barangay captain in Luzon, in the Visayas, in the hometown of my father, Danao, Cebu. Even my cousins were supporting the other guys. I said, okay. Then, only in Davao. So how many all-in-all politicians? What, 5, 6, 7? Oh, when the results came, I had a majority of 6 million. And all in all, you add it to the 15 million, the number of 15 million something, 16 rather. So the 10 million plus the 16. Without any money, a very limited campaign activity, I won by a landslide. What does that say to you? I had only 3 messages. 4. I will stop corruption. And my God, I will stop corruption. Papatay ko. If I have to kill you, I'll kill you. I said, stop. I will stop corruption. I will stop drugs. I will stop criminality. Yung mga police na murder for hire, and those policemen were still wanted. And I placed a 20 million reward on their head, and I announced the other day that I'm putting another million, 3 million. I want their heads in front of me. I know, I'm not a violent man. I'm not even, of course, I'm a playful guy. But when it comes to my country, I can be the most brutal. But I do not lose the sight of the Constitution because I am a lawyer. always. I was a prosecutor. I was doing trial work for 8 years. I know what due process means. I know what is due should be given to the citizens. And lastly, I do not want killing innocent Filipino people. Rather, I do not want to see, tignan mo, you're here, kayo lahat dito, Manila. You saw on TV, Kian was killed, another one. So a lot of broadcasts there. So I'm not saying that the police is really, there are police who became police just because they wanted to make money. And these are the guys that we have to root out. And if you do not do anything, just stick against them because they are the police. Contemporary Philippines, you never go where. And I said, if you are a policeman or a military man and you're into drugs, you will be the first to go. Look at what they are doing. Kian was killed. 2 days after there was this police operation, because really Caloocan is flooded with drugs, in deep shit about drugs. The police went there, and no, one was shot in the head, right? He had a protective gear, he had a helmet, but and so with these guys who died, the statistics. Why army? Why army? Because in some places in the Philippines, if you just rely on the police, they will be massacred. That is why in Mindanao, if you want to go against the drug syndicates, you have to use a military armored car there. Because the first thing that you will experience is the M60 babab. The police doesn't have that kind of weapon. So the entry is always made by the army. That is why mas maraming patay na army in the campaign against drugs. Now, why there are so many people in the order 206? Mine is 3,811 legitimate. Why? Because when I became president, I said, don't give me that. You work. If I do not see results, and I go out at night, everybody knows it. In my city, I go out alone. I drive a taxi, and I watch people. I do not. A lot of you we had the time to ride with me around. I do not bring bodyguards. I said, if it's your time, it's your time. That is why the president, why is Duterte always saying about death? Well, we're talking about there because we're talking about the dangers of drugs. And it could mean a danger to your life and the life of the idiot there outside making money and destroying the lives of people. I said, it's not that great. Never mind, don't give me a number. My country deserves the best, even if you touch 1, 2, or 3 Filipino. And if you oppress them, I will react. I said, I made a few, during the debates, the national debates during the campaign, I said, I finished early because I knew that we were only given 1.5 minutes. And if I follow that schedule given by the, what kind of, when you tend to talk about bridges and everything, mawala ang kanang, you would say there's not enough time. So mine, my bullets. And what was my message? The 3 most important issues that the Filipinos are really afraid of. Corruption, drugs, criminality. Yun lang, I would let the managers take care of. Do not ask me because even looking at the statistics, I get dizzy. Pag ganun-ganun yung, nasaan ba ito papunta? Do not know how that. I took up economics, but not that. Others took it seriously, maybe because they wanted to be economists. Me, I just wanted to be a trial lawyer because I was fascinated. That's why I joined the prosecution. And I really wanted to help my country. So when I was mayor, I knew what I was doing. Due process must be observed. I will be the first one to break it. Now, there are 130 policemen in the Philippines. Find me one, even one officer or a patrolman. Find me one that would say that I order them to execute criminals and you will have my resignation tomorrow. I'm only asking for one, patrolman or police officer. Sige nga. And I'm challenging the opposition. If it is true in an affidavit form, or if you say that my children are into this kind of smuggling, I told you, I will not hesitate. Told them that if you find my two sons or one of my sons, you kill them. You kill him. That is to show you na I do not. I enforce the law against everybody. Ako wala man akong ma-enforce. I do not smoke. I ban smoking. It is only when I became president na walang manigarilyo dito. I made Davao City smoke-free 15 years ago. I banned the paputok, the firecrackers during New Year. And they say it was impossible. Well, let us see. Ngayon, bakit? Davao has registered the highest growth rate in the entire history of the new, during our time, maybe the glorious time. We are registering 9% growth rate. Pero tao, grabe, we're numbering about 2 million already. And that is why I have to keep doing my work. Make the Philippines safe so that everybody can work. Never mind about outside incentives and assistance. That we can be productive on our own and we can give work to. Well, if there are those who would like to join us, China, Japan, come, and we would be happy. I would say thank you, but to make it safe, because that is my, maybe say, my template is Davao. I challenge you to go to Davao and walk about the whole evening. And if you are, I said, I guarantee you an unfettered, undisturbed, unmolested. If something goes wrong there, let me know. I will slit my throat in front of you. Oh, why is Davao so peaceful? Why is Davao so clean? Why is Davao expanding like hell? It's because it's safe. And they want to cite figures. Do not listen to the opposition, I said. Men judge best when they condemn. Or purposely, really. Yung iba naman, they take it all hook, line, and sinker and start to bubble their mouth. You go first and investigate. I do not. I said that during my time, during the other people's time is 206. Why? Because the police and everybody was into it. Now, mine, 3,811. How many policemen? Well, over 50. In Davao, all policemen who were connected with drugs died. Just give them a chance to fight. There's nothing to say, give them a gun if they want to fight. That is that. If you commit a crime, you run the risk of, I said, go out and hunt for them, bring him under the custody of the law. If there is resistance, then you have to overcome that resistance, because your duty is to bring him to the police station or to the judge issuing the warrant. Once you resist, because the duty of a citizen is placed under arrest, is you must surrender to the majesty of the law. So when you are placed in if the person announces, I am a policeman, I am a soldier, better drop your weapon, stop it. Now, if you resist, I will not, then the policeman or the military is under obligation to overcome your resistance and drag you to the police station for investigation. So if there is a warrant of arrest, then you bring him to the judge. That is why when drunks and children are taken into custody, they begin to squabble, especially children. So the police and the drunk people, they have to be subdued physically. So what happens? When they have these bumps, they go to the hospitals, have them examined, medical injuries indeed. So what is the practice now in the Philippines? Every time a police enforces the law and there is a case filed against them, the police will either just keep up quiet about it or they don't do it. That's why you see a lot of children. Nakikita ninyo sa EDSA, small children running. When they run, there's a semblance of chase by the police and the tanods. But when they are taken into custody physically, we say, how old are you? 15 years old. Not a minute of detention, nor even half a minute of a lecture about accountability and responsibility. These guys go in and out every day. They grew up with a set of a psychic that it's all right to violate the law. Now, I will tell you, I hate it because he is a friend. And you know, once upon a time, my daughter, my only daughter then, I have 2 daughters now because I have 2 wives. When she was the only one at the time, the mayor now of Davao City said, anak, no, it's a daughter, the only. What do you want for your birthday? She was about 2nd year in high school. Said, Papa, I want to have dinner with Sharon Cuneta, her idol. So I had to call Senator Pangilinan. Pero I have to be, Senator, I owe you for doing it to my daughter. I respect you, and this is the thing I would like not to do. I hate it. But I have to be honest to the nation. It is you, the singular person of this country, who is responsible for all of this now. I'm referring to the children. Because you passed the law, you copied it, it's either the New York, State of New York Juvenile Offenders Law or the State of Washington. Alin yan dyan sa kaya pa si Miller? You know, when you say that they will be not in prison, you ought to have provided under the law an automatic recurrent money to build correctional facilities. They have to ask. Just like in America, you copied that you from 9, well, below 9, they're babies. Above 9, below 12, you have to determine whether or not there was malice. Of course, stealing food to me is not, it's no malice, clothes. But, doing indecent things against the woman, there's always malice there. Then above 12, below 16, where you play the indeterminate sentence, it either be you full term or short term, depending on the court and the severity of the criminal mind. That's how it's being done. Ang problema kay Pangilinan, Senator, I wanted during the campaign to talk about it, but I refrained because I said that when you ask a favor, pero kita mo naman, pagkatapos, they are brought to the station, and when the child says that I am only 13, and he goes back to commit another crime. Sometimes there are 4 snatching cases a day. And they go in and out. That's good that you maybe, to this point, some sociologists there and criminologists, it was good that you had to, the higher motive did is, okay, they're just children, 15. But when they commit the crime in and out, in and out, in and out every day, what do you expect of that generation when they grow up? Sige. Now, this is not what happened in Kian or whatever previous incident. I would be very sparing in I'm not attributing it. Why is it that you find many minors walking around at night? There's a curfew, but it is not enforced. Most cities have laws against minors roaming around, doing nothing in the streets. Davao City is one city which enforces the curfew. But in many places here in Manila it cannot. Caloocan and the Metro Manila itself. Now they walk around. Why do they have? I'm not referring to any particular incident. Ganito yan eh. Ako, I'm 72. Then I befriend, or a friend, or a cousin, alay kasama ka. Then I go walk around, may lapit sa akin. And they have this talkative about drugs. Mention something about bato or pare, meron ka ba dyan? Sige, how much? How many? 5 sachets. Okay, in that corner, you stand there. Just wait for 5 minutes. Salis ako. Tapos, I call the child. He will find, so that, give it to him and get the money. If perchance there is a bus by mahuli, once he gets over the child, up, I'm a minor, because if you hurt or bring or imprison a minor, that policeman will go to jail. So, hindi, dalhin lang sa estasyon. The distributor, the peddlers, runners na, they're just running the errands, yung mga bata. They don't know what's actually being delivered. But by now, because it's a common practice, alam na nila yan. But Mr. I'm a prosecutor. I always have that thing of, trying to solve how it is. How was it done? So pag nahuli if the child is caught, simply goes away, rides a motor to trade for another day. That is the problem of our country today. At itong mga magtago ng droga, if I will be blunt, I don't mind if you are caught with 1 ton of shabu and I am around, you are dead. You are dead. Ngayon mga distributor, if I find your trawler there or whatever, I will personally, because it's terrorism. What do you think funded the Marawis? I've been telling you, everyone, kung makinig ka sa prosecution, maraming sasabihin na he just wants to martial law. All I need is my 2 balls complete. Wala martial law. But that rebellion in Marawi was... why is it that it's still raging until now? Because the terrain has a different scenario. Just like the wars in Iraq, in Syria, Mosul and Aleppo, they took, because they have natural concrete covers. And they were prepared with the holes. Alam mo, they have a hole here and another hole there. Ito yung outside wall. Dito sa loob, kwarto may wall. Doon sila. 2 layers pa. 2 layers na ano. Kung tatamaan mo yan, dito ako malayo. That's the trick. And they have covers and they have dug tunnels underground. Nilagyan niya yung mga IEDs lahat na. Until now, every day, I lose a policeman or a soldier. I will be receiving my briefer. And it hurts me deeply. That is why. That is you see the outburst in me, almost shouting. Why? Because I declared martial law and I sent the soldiers and policemen there to die. So whenever I read the briefer every night, the burden is always okay. I am glad that, thank you for really inviting me so that be given the chance to. We are in trouble. We are in trouble. And China has trouble too. Walang alam yung mga gangster. Every country has gangsters. Every gangster now, 40% of the barangays in the Philippines are contaminated. I told the congressman, the Senate President, and the Speaker, nilatag ko lang, here. I will not decide. Do you think that an election, barangay election, would be advisable? We don't. It's your take. Me, all I do is that I will enforce the law. If I have enemies numbering 1,000, I will prepare my police and army for 1,000. If there are two, three, then sorry. No need for a martial law in this game of drugs. Pero basta kapag nahuli kita 1 tonelada, putang ina, wag mo ako. I've told you before, in my presidency, I'm staking my honor, my life, and the presidency itself. Period. Wala nang istorya tayo dyan. Either we follow the civilized way or we follow the brutalized methods of just do not destroy my country. Do not destroy our young people because they are our valued assets. Because maybe most of us here can afford the hospital. And that's about how many? 1%, 2%? How about the 98, 99 Filipinos outside? I said, it's dysfunctional. Even when the child is under the influence of drugs, this family is already dysfunctional. When the husband goes out to work outside of the Philippines, without the father, this Filipino family is already dysfunctional. If the mother and father is out and the children are left to the care of the grandmother or to the relatives, the poor Filipino has no family at all. Now you add that you make our children, their children, inutile and useless. That is not good for the country, and you have to deal with me. That is why, if they look at me as a killer, I used to be known as a killer in my city. Killer of ladies. Oh. Killer looks. But I said, let us be frank with each other. That's the Constitution. It prescribes the Bill of Rights. They say, the great magistrate here, is the limit of power, because we have the inherent police power, taxation, expropriation. So it's the limit of what government can do. Well, so long as you do not destroy, we will always abide by the limits. The Bill of Rights, due process, they say that we cannot investigate children, well, release them. Allow them to look at a case. You have a very visual thing about 2 weeks ago. Here is this guy, walking around, threatening to stab all people. Then he started to stab the policeman. Police, inaresto siya there. What did the police do? He kept on parrying the stabbers. He got hold of the knife and slashed his finger. And yet he was retreating. And when he fell down, and the criminal was on top of him, all recorded in a CCTV, shown to the whole entire Philippines by ABS-CBN, and the rest sometimes isa ka pa, ABS-CBN. You know, I'm not trying to. There will never be a time that the elite of this country will have their way. There's always been the elite, the rich people, the rich politicians. Me, few supported me. I do not have debts of gratitude to pay. Yan. Ito magprangkanta, we are all lawyers. Do you think the Republic of the Philippines would ever get back the mile-long the property of the people that was taken away by the elite of this country? And I told them, you know, you were collecting taxes on a property owned by the people already, the contract to occupy it has long gone. You start to, I will charge you with economic sabotage. That crime will not give you any right to bail. So I'm telling you now, everybody who owns property of the government, return it now na wala pa tayong kaso. Because I will personally arrest. It would give me extreme pleasure to do the honor. That's why itong Mylong, well, I would not want, but they were using turing mga gagong mga busit that I'm killing press freedom. Yun eh, abogado tayo. He who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Then you criticize us, picture us, lalo na politician, as if we are patay gutom, that we're all there to plunder my country. You, even in your editorials, you ipahiya ninyo ang tao, you put the guy to shame, humiliation. Tapos, you are occupying a property of the government, making yourself rich at the expense of the... We go, return it, and henceforth, there will be no special privileges for anybody. Walang pakiusap dito. And even yung mga, I do not talk to me. I do not talk to businessmen. Not to talk to me, you talk to the secretary. Puro bright yan. Wag mo ako I just sign state papers, appointments, promotion of generals and everything. And I said, there was this loose talk about military ko. If you think that you deserve another leader, tell me. Do not fight because they're also military and policemen. You just tell me. And, come here, you line up. There, line up there. I, Lieutenant General, appointed as a junta member. Sige, you solve the problem. You recover the properties of the government. Basta basta kayong wala ng abogado mo tayo lahat dito. Tell your clients, pay the tax correctly. May isa dito, I did not accept his money. He is a contributor. Sabihin ko na, lusyutan. Doon na rupal. Sabihin ko no. Because thank you, but other guys there. You are using government buildings, airport. You have a back utang dyan sa runway, di mo binabayaran. Because you solve the problem yourself. I will give you 10 days. Bayaran mo. Pag bayaran mo, sirahan ko. Wala nang airport. So what? Filipinos have to travel overland from Luzon to Davao. Basta wag mo akong bigyan ng shit ng gano'n. I do not mind. If we sink, we sink. But I said we have to enforce the law. So, you guys, if you are put into a great discomfort, sorry. Wala akong magawa. The law is the law. It is the law. And that is what makes me unpopular itong mga, alam mo na, nandito sila so, bigyan. Hindi mo lang mag-imbestiga. Why would I kill a child? For what purpose? Why would... Do you know that the other guy who was killed, I forgot the name, this the other one, De Los Santos ba yun? Yung He was my relative, actually. They come all from Leyte, bye-bye. They are related to me. Would you ever think that enjoys police killing my relative, an innocent relative? I'm not talking about this case to equate it with, I said, what I just illustrated to you about how it is being done, how the issue of teen killing came about. Alam mo, it's not only the police and the military that are interested in solving the problem. Me, I am just a citizen of an ordinary citizen. If I was to scratch around and lure the children in the neighborhood, I want to defend the children. That is why I give to you now that is our covenant. The 6 million. Those of us who follow democracy, the voice of the people is the voice of God. So what do I have is 86% acceptance. An American think tank says, yeah, 86. That's published in the newspaper. Today, tomorrow, rather yesterday. Then, do you agree with the campaign of Duterte against the war on drugs? He says that, well, 76%. And to think that what is in their mind is what is being harped on by the opposition and by these foreigners, blah, 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 blah. So the Filipino in question, do you agree how it is being done by Duterte? 76% yes. So what is that scenario? The scenario that's being painted by the other side. And the foreign publication. Yan, kasama na yung patay nga. Kasi pinapatay ko ng bata ko. Yes. Why? Why? Because the Filipino people is really hard put. The drug problem has been here. He knows. I'll tell you, Parahinog. Mayor Parahinog was hanging on to power using the office of the mayor as his platform. He killed everybody who ran against him, had him killed to stay in power. He even killed the policemen who did not agree with him. That is why when he was gone, and there were a lot of diggings because everybody started to squeak, and we found the bones of the still in their uniforms. That is why I had to deal with Parahinog the way that the law says. We serve a warrant. Do not follow that day or night. You cannot catch a killer during the day because he does not show his face. It's only during night. Kasi there's the warrants are to be served and impracticable only in daytime. What kind of shit is that? Serve it any time. Time it when he's there. Oh, he got killed. So we go now to the Ardoti's son who's wanted. So look what the cameras went in. All of these guys. The wallpaper of his house was 500 pesos all in all. He made the money a wallpaper of his house. Tapos lahat palasyo. Talagang palasyo. They were really, I don't know, it's almost obscene to Sa, and every policeman there was corrupt. So I had to go there and told them to assemble in front of me. You fucking guys, do not fuck with me. Putang ina kayo, sabi ko. Do not ever think that the gun you're holding there will protect you. I hear another, so it with the Albuera mayor. Si Albuera was running, coming from Mindanao, si Odicta, and si Mabilog, the mayor of Iloilo, I said, you are a goddamn protector. Hindi ko sinasabi nagluluto. So he was correct. He was not a producer of drug. But you know, when the police says, yan ang ayaw ko eh. Pag sinabi ng mayor, huwag kang pakialaman yan, leader ko yan. Ganon yan eh. Kaya pag ang mayor, pati yung graft and corruption, I see a lot of municipal auditors, treasurer, in tatters. Some of them I know way back. What happens to you? Sir, pupunta ako sa noon, ay tulong sana. Pamasahe lang. Bakit? When the mayor sign here, wala na. So they will just say, automatic yan. So when the time comes, the mayor pays the prosecutor or some of the ombudsman there, yung mga investigators drop, but that leaves the poor guy. They are there, and although they did nothing, they have to face everything. Yan ang Philippines. So I don't know, but the only way to look, like I do not talk your dialect. Bingbong here, same. You come from a different place. Me, I have a Maranao grandmother and a Chinese grandfather, mother side. My father side is a Cebuano. Some of you talk Davao, Tagalog, Bisaya, Sambuangueño, Davaoeño. We all talk in different, we do not share the same menu. We have specialties that's peculiar to our tongue. What keeps us here tonight? What is the unifying factor in the Filipino? It's the Philippine Constitution, signed by our forefathers, that we will be one. That keeps us united. You start to destroy the Constitution, there will be a breakage of our society. Maraming salamat po.